the starting grid then for what is the 25th Australian Grand Prix here in Melbourne. Alex Albon right at the back, Lance Stroll alongside him, then Nicholas Latifi and Sebastian Vettel. Williams and Aston Martin occupying the back two rows. Mick Schumacher out-qualifies Kevin Magnussen for the first time this season. Both Haas drivers start together. Yuki Tsunoda and Zhou Guan Yu, 13th and 14th on the grid. And after these two, Valtteri Bottas, after 103 successive appearances in Q3, missed out. Pierre Gasly ahead of him in 11th. Fernando Alonso crashed in Q3. Carlos Sainz got caught out by the resultant red flag. Esteban Ocon, the lead Alpine driver, alongside Daniel Ricciardo, his best start here since 2015. George Russell alongside his teammate Lewis Hamilton. It's an all-Mercedes third row. And ahead of these two, Lando Norris will start fourth for McLaren. Sergio Perez third for Red Bull, just behind his teammate Max Verstappen. And Charles Leclerc taking Ferrari's first pole here in Australia since 2007. Pole has only won here once in the last 8 races. Can he convert that advantage into victory today? And what can Daniel Ricciardo do with the home advantage, which Nigel Mansell always reckoned was worth at least a second? We're in Albert Park this afternoon. Welcome around the world as we have 5 lights on and it's lights out and away we go. Decent start from Charles Leclerc. And George Russell down the inside. Leclerc through from Verstappen. Lewis Hamilton has moved his Mercedes up and into further place. Sainz, he's struggling a bit in his opening lap. He finishes the first lap 0.6 of a second ahead of Max Verstappen. Hamilton riding in the top 3 behind Verstappen, behind Leclerc, and Hamilton at the end of the first lap was... That is Carlos Sainz, who looks like he's reached that Ferrari. Sainz going past Mick Schumacher and then, well, he's going in a little bit too hot, couldn't keep it on the tarmac, and that grass, not exactly grippy, even though we haven't had much rain around here.
Yes, he's gone in a little bit deep, had to turn in and correct a slide across the grass, and you're right, he's had a miserable weekend. So
it's got to be pretty much single file now as the safety car comes into the pits. They'll see the green flags, no overtaking before the finish line, and we can get this Australian Grand Prix back underway. Leclerc leads from Verstappen and then Hamilton, then Perez, Russell, Norris, Ricciardo, Ocon, Gasly and Alonso completing the top 10. And Max Verstappen sticking to the back of that Ferrari.
But this is costing Perez a second a lap now, so if he gets any chance, he's going to have to send one up the inside of Lewis.
Good exit out of turn 2. Perez will really fancy his chances at turn 3. It's been widened on reprofile to try and encourage some overtaking. Perez is going to squeeze that Red Bull down the inside of Lewis Hamilton. Sebastian Vettel, who's only had 26 laps around Albert Park this weekend. 2 silvers, 2 oranges. It's a blur of colour as Hamilton leads Russell, leads Norris, leads Ricciardo down towards...
And of course then when you lose grip with a green tyre, it's harder to brake as well. And then it starts sliding across the road.
Valtteri Bottas, ladies and gentlemen, down the main straight. Has he got past Yuki Tsunoda? Magnussen was going to have a go. Ted Kravitz at 80 kilometres an hour. Max Verstappen is heading your way.
All right, so let's have it. It's the hard tyres who come out to go onto the cut, but it is a good stop so far. It's a little bit slow away, but that was pretty sound stuff from the Red Bull guys.
Because there's Alonso making the move on Pierre Gasly, which might just help Max Verstappen get...
Go then. This is Lewis Hamilton catching Sergio Perez back up to confirm what I was saying. Much better race pace.
Lando will pick this lap.
Perez is out of Hamilton's way because he's coming into the pit sweet. That was a bit quicker. I don't have a clock on it, but that felt quicker than Verstappen's. 4 quicker. That felt, yeah, it was quicker than Verstappen's stop. That was lovely stuff. Sorry, they're good poker players, aren't they? They're not flinching at all. No sign of them even getting the wheel guns ready to bring Charles Leclerc in. We shall see. And the McLaren crew has had the fastest 2 stops in the first 2 races. Another 2.4 seconds. Consistency. Albon trying to go into turn 3 now. Ricciardo on the inside. Albon goes a long way around the outside. He's going to lose out to last.
Take it away.
This needs to be absolutely perfecto, as they say. It is perfecto. Maybe not quite as quick as Sergio Perez tyres, but about the same as Max Verstappen. We've also got Mercedes out in the pit lane, guys.
Yes, because Lewis Hamilton is making his pit stop. There was a 9-second gap. Lewis Hamilton going to come out ahead of Sergio Perez? The answer is yes. As Lewis Hamilton sees the Red Bull going around the outside, trying to pass him, going into the chicane, and he has done that. We have the safety car deployed for a second time in this race because Sebastian Vettel has stopped by the side of the track around the turn 5. Oh no, not the scooter for Seb again this weekend.
Williams stops it in turn 5. Oh no, he's on the exit of turn 4. That's highly unusual. And then of course he freewheels into 5, which is where we picked him up looking like he'd just broken down. Said that this has played back into the hands of Red Bull in a way, hasn't it? I mean, George Russell of course, but Max's tyres are 4 laps older than Charles' tyres, but you know
Leclerc, now we're going green, did not get away well, and Max Verstappen is right on his tail, and they're going to go wheel to wheel into turn 1 here. Charles Leclerc's been leading this race. Verstappen fancies his chances. Leclerc stays ahead, but now we've got the rundown towards turn 3. He's put Alonso onto the defensive, so Fernando would be a little bit tighter into 1 and 2 than he ideally wanted, and he's a sitting duck, and there's the breezing past we were expecting. Quack, quack, overtake. Sergio Perez gets the sitting duck and up into 4th place, and then got round Fernando Alonso around the outside in his first ever Grand Prix at this corner. This time, it's on the inside.
Come on, Kev, these are really good laps.
This is the whites of Haas and the papaya of McLaren blast through the left, right. Lando Norris trying to go around the outside at turn 3. Kevin Magnussen slams that door well and truly shut. Norris will have to try again. But here comes Lando Norris with a decent exit out of the final corner, and there's 2 McLarens now attacking the Haas of Kevin Magnussen. Norris looks to his left, he's cleared Kevin Magnussen. Ricardo not quite. To turn 3, not quite.
So George, important. Management is more important than position. If you're hurting the tyres to keep Perez behind, you can let him by.
So later on, certainly not getting in Danny Ricciardo's way. That was an easy overtake for the McLaren. Meanwhile, back to this one, George Russell and Sergio Perez. As we look at our race leader once again, over 5 seconds, the gap now between first and second. Looking in his mirrors, sees where Perez is. Perez, well, he doesn't need to look at his mirrors now. Sergio Perez has got past, so maybe George Russell has thought, I will look after my tyres for a little bit longer, and we'll come back at Sergio later on in the race. Perez back up into the podium places. George Russell down to 4th.
George defending fresh air a little bit there, but he obviously felt the Red Bull was going to come at him sufficiently to go to the inside on the way into
Meanwhile, Max Verstappen has pulled over to the side of the track. While Paul was telling us about tyre management, he has stopped. Is this another power unit issue for Red Bull and Red Bull powertrains that have the disappointment in Bahrain, the double retirement, and Pierre Gasly in trouble as well. Bottas. Getting very, very close indeed as the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll squeezes his way down the inside.
Stroll may need to go off the track, just review the overtake. Understood.
Let's go for the fastest lap of the year.
Schumacher goes onto the grass too. Most expensive lawnmowers in Formula One. In Formula One, these. As Lewis Hamilton getting closer now to his teammate George Russell. He's almost under a second behind Martin.
Yeah, I would say on this lap he's gained 3/10, so that'll put him within DRS. So Hamilton within DRS. There he is of his teammate. We'll change the dynamics a bit.
Certainly will. happy hunting ground in Australia, where his 3 previous career wins have come from pole, make that 4 career wins from pole position as Charles Leclerc takes the fastest lap of the race and wins the Australian Grand Prix. What a comfortable victory that was for the championship leader, with Sergio Perez coming home in second place for Red Bull on a day that his teammate Max Verstappen had to retire. Perez finishes on the podium, takes second place, and for his first podium of the season, George Russell comes home to finish in third, ahead of his teammate Lewis Hamilton in fourth. That means Mercedes will finish as the lead constructor in this race, in this Australian Grand Prix here this afternoon. Behind Lewis Hamilton, well, it's another British driver, Lando Norris. And Lando Norris is leading home the home favourite as Norris and Ricciardo make it the first double points finish for McLaren in 2022. 5th for Norris, 6th for Daniel Ricciardo.